Hey friends, are you unsure of what to say on social media or what to even send in your weekly emails? Well, what if creating content could be easy? Would you be looking for a shortcut to creating consistent content? Yes, consistent content, because you know consistency is key. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone when you feel like you're struggling on what to post or what to write in emails. And we know that you have that product part of your business down. But as you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that to get more people to your products, to buy your products, you need to create great content. Oh, I know. I keep saying content, and that's the dreaded C word. And we can't tell you how many product bosses tell us that they want to create great content for their audience and their customers, but they don't know what to say, or they are so busy they can't find the time, or they really, really, really don't want to be the face of their brand. Well, no worries, because that's exactly why we created a year of content. It is your shortcut to creating consistent content that resonates with your audience and brings more loyal customers who can't wait to buy your products. If you want to see how easy this is and how easy it is to create content for your audience and your customers, head to www.ayearofcontent.com.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, with my comfy and cozy co-host, Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Hey, Mina.
Hey, Jacqueline.
All right, friends, we are recording this live. We have a special guest on today, and this is a really exciting episode. So we have always done female founders episodes, and what we've decided to do is
pivot and sell stories. Remember, we did those for a bit.
Black-owned business owner stories.
Business voices, yeah.
So we're actually switching it up, and it is now going to be the Small Biz Founders episodes, and it is sponsored and brought to you by Shop 1 in 5, the Shop 1 in 5 pledge, which is a pledge to shop 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business, online or offline. So if you're interested in that, head over to shop1in5.com, discover, support, and shop from other small businesses. So today we're really excited. We have an incredible business owner on. We have the honor of working with her in our masterminds. And I'm not sure if you're a student, but when you talk, you can tell us. And she is the owner of Pipermoon, which are adult swaddle blankets. And if you think about this, they're just super comfy, cozy, amazing, big blankets. And so we have Kimberly Cannon on. So welcome, Kimberly.
Hi, thank you for having me. And I am a student of your mastermind. So
are you machine?
Yeah. Okay. Multi-stream machine. Sorry.
Someone tell us why we named everything with M's. I have no idea.
I don't know, because Mina just had to put it in there.
We also have Mia's and
I'll
Maria's.
be right back.
Okay. Are you getting your blanket?
Yeah, I am. How did you know?
Because I know you.
Just a second.
So while Mina's going to get her blanket, Kimberly, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business or what your business is.
So I have a business making blankets that are like jersey knit material that a lot of baby blankets are made out of, but I've made them in adult size. I figured everybody needs to cuddle and be warm and cozy. They were a super popular product in COVID 2020 when everyone was staying home and needed to cozy up by the TV or their computer and laptop. So
there's Mina in one right now. If you're listening, you can't see it.
So this is super large, but it feels heavy, but it's not thick. So I wear it like walking around, it's not like putting on a big poofy blanket, and it's stretchy too. Like the kids and I fight over this. So I didn't know that there was going to be a good excuse to be swaddled today, but this is definitely I'm loving it.
That's so great.
We have the blue version of that at our house. And what I love about the stretchy part of the fabric is that we actually can stretch it around all of us on the couch and then tuck it in, which you can't do with a normal blanket, right? It's like always pulling to one side or the other and someone's foot is out and they're freezing.
Yeah.
So I love that we can kind of tuck ourselves in. We swaddle an entire family.
Well, the
That's
kids
so
and I,
cute.
they get hot really easily, but they love having blankets on them. So that's why they fight for it, because it's cool to the touch. So it's like, I don't know, they wear shorts in the wintertime. They're like crazy. That's why they're always wanting this particular blanket and not one of the fuzzy ones.
Online is saying, OMG, I need 5 of those in my house. Okay.
Yeah.
Pipermoon.com. Head on over. Available to sell. And which is why we want to share your story here, because we believe it's so important to support small businesses. And obviously most of you listening out there are small business owners and probably product-based business owners, but also knowing the story and the journey of the business owner, right? Because while we can all build businesses, it's very much small businesses are about the founder, about the families behind it, about the teams that are building it. So how did you decide to come up with an adult swaddle blanket company?
But it's actually pipermoonxo.com.
Oh,
so
yeah.
as Kimberly's talking about her story, please be shopping at the same time. Okay, thank you.
So it's a funny story how it started. It's pivoted since then, but a few years ago, my kids were playing high school basketball, and we live in a small town. And so our teams would travel up to 5 hours for games on school nights, getting home at 1, 2 in the morning with school the next day. And my daughter informed me that they sleep on the floor of the bus on the way home, which horrified me. That is so gross. So I just came up with this idea of having a blanket that was easy to pack down and small enough to throw in their duffel bag so they could take it with them, so they could sleep a little bit better on the bus ride home. But since then, we actually have pivoted a lot, and our blankets have become known as like a hug. And a lot of people have started giving our blankets to friends and family, especially during COVID and social distancing, with a little attached note saying, we can't be with you, wrap up in this blanket, feel like a hug that we're giving you virtually. So that's where our business is going now, as a self-care item.
Amazing.
I mean, so good.
Yeah,
I
because
love
there is
that.
that weight to it too, where it's not a weighted blanket,
Yeah.
but it's got that weight to it that I really enjoy. So my friend, are you a home sewer making these all at home, or how's it going over there?
No, not at all. I could sew a button on a shirt and that's about it.
Big deal.
No, yeah. No, I have them made overseas, and I have to order by the thousands.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have them manufactured, right? And I think that's what, we wanted to bring that up too, because small businesses look, feel, all of them are different in their own sort of way. Right. And I think that sometimes we get stuck because we think of, small businesses that you can't do it. You can't figure it out. And I think the thing that I've seen with Kimberly and working with her closely is that she's super resilient. And that is really something that's to be shown for all the small business owners that we've worked with that have survived, thrived. It hasn't meant Kimberly's thriving now, but it hasn't meant that she hasn't overcome a lot of obstacles in the past couple of years, just like the rest of us.
In the past 5 days, you've had like a life-changing event,
Yes.
which means that she found her product on a ship that was off. We had no idea where it was.
Yeah, we did.
Finally.
So good news, bad news, we couldn't find it. Good news, we found it.
We found it 13 weeks later.
At one point, because you're in our mastermind, so we work with you pretty closely. And at one point you're like, now they no longer know where the ship is or when they're delivering. So people that are listening are thinking, oh, that's why I don't manufacture overseas. But I'm going to say, listen,
No, I don't. I manufacture stateside, and I paid in September for a whole bunch of labels. Because just remember, this is post back to school season for little labels, and yet to be seen when those will be manufactured because of the adhesive. So it doesn't matter if you're stateside or if you're overseas, or even if you're handmade, because raw goods, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've all gone through these same struggles. So don't let that stop you. Kimberly's figured it out in her own way. And I think that don't let it scare you that overseas is something any scarier than stateside, or
it's just because we kicked off with that. But I actually want to ask you, because a lot of times, and I work with a lot of startup small businesses, and they're afraid of manufacturing overseas. And so, I mean, you figured this out on your own, and you don't have to tell us like your secrets or how you did it, but in a general way, you came up with this idea of blankets And then you decided to manufacture overseas, but how did you go about that? Did someone help you source it? Did you, go on Google? Like, what was that process like?
So the first thing I did, because I thought to myself, I want to make these in the US. So I went to the fabric district in Los Angeles and spent days there perusing the fabric stalls and talking to manufacturers. And the fact of the matter is it was extremely pricey. So I kind of felt like if I was to be a profitable business, I didn't have a lot of choice but to manufacture overseas in giant quantities. So I actually found a broker through my husband who helped set me up with a manufacturer. And then we had price negotiations, which was something that I wasn't aware I was going to be going into, but we eventually worked out the pricing, and here I am manufacturing overseas.
Hey friends, are you unsure of what to say on social media or what to even send in your weekly emails? Well, what if creating content could be easy? Would you be looking for a shortcut to creating consistent content? Yes, consistent content, because consistency is key. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone when you feel like you're struggling on what to post or what to write in emails. And we know that you have that product part of your business down. But as you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that to get more people to your products, to buy your products, you need to create great content. Oh, I know. I keep saying content, and that's the dreaded C word. And we can't tell you how many product bosses tell us that they want to create great content for their audience and their customers, but they don't know what to say, or they are so busy they can't find the time, or they really, really, really don't want to be the face of their brand. Well, no worries, because that's exactly why we created a year of content. It is your shortcut to creating consistent content that resonates with your audience and brings more loyal customers who can't wait to buy your products. If you want to see how easy this is and how easy it is to create content for your audience and your customers, head to www.ayearofcontent.com. And, coming from LA, and I think you and I have talked about this before, but during the time of like little draft blankets, for example, back, I don't know, I feel like it was like 15 years ago when they were taking off, other people would come to me and they wanted to start blanket companies. And it was really hard to find manufacturers that wanted to sew blankets, especially big blankets, because of the space you needed to have with the sewing machines and the cleanliness of the floor, because the fabric would drape over the machine and hit the floor. And so I've also tried to source doing blankets out there, and it is expensive. And while you use up a lot of fabric yardage, so a lot of the cost in the product is in the fabric, but the general consumer doesn't care, right? Like they're still going to be like what the market can bear. So I think you were really smart in thinking, okay, well, let me outsource this. Let me see what it's like overseas. And when you're talking about these price negotiations, that doesn't stop. And I would say a lot of people are dealing with that now. Like whether you hand pour candles in your basement, you may be paying more for jars and wicks. Or if you're manufacturing overseas and making blankets, they're telling you that prices are going up, whether it's in materials, labor, shipping. And so as business owners and the boss of your business, you will be in these conversations about negotiating, but it's important that you have conversations and work with people in partnership, because they want your business. And so they're going to negotiate with you like what works for both, right?
Yeah, I actually just went through my second set of price negotiations in November. So
how'd that go?
It went good. I knew that everything was increasing in price. Shipping's been increasing. Cost of materials is increasing. Fabric prices have increased. So
your prices have increased too.
My prices have increased. So
right, because we've worked with you as a student and as a masterminder is that like when you're as any of you product bosses out there listening, your prices go up. You're not paying people to take your stuff. They're paying you to buy a product from you, and we want you to be profitable. So Kimberly also, with huge fans and customers, needed to raise her prices because globally the prices were going up and they're still selling.
Still worth it.
Yeah.
Kimberly, listening to all these conversations, it feels like big business for small businesses. So when you were first starting and you said your kids were going to the games and things like that, did you feel like that's where you wanted to go? Did you always expect to be a small business owner?
No, I just kind of started it just to help my kids out. But it only took, like a month later, my husband was like, why don't you just do this as a business? And of course, at first I'm like, what? But here I am. So I love it. I love doing it.
It happens that way all the time. I love that because, sometimes it's not like the path is very clear for any of us, right? Sometimes we grow up as we feel like we want to be entrepreneurs, but that wasn't that way with me either. I didn't ever think about owning my business till I accidentally owned it,
Right.
You just fell into the label and blanket business. What was something that you feel like hit, or was that thing that kind of pushed you over the edge that went from just because did you start selling direct to consumer and on Instagram? Like, how did you first start selling? And then what was something that changed in your business that then blew your business up to the level that it is now?
So I started with my own website, and of course, friends and family were the first people to order. I put it on Facebook and Instagram, but I realized really quickly that I needed to be advertising on Facebook. So I hired a Facebook marketing manager, and he blew my business up in 2020. 2021, when Facebook ads stopped working as effectively, it was a whole different story. And I had to pivot again and figure out what to do to keep the sales coming.
So you started organically. You tried to do it on your own. Then you decided to hire a marketing agency to help you with ads. And then, so what happened in 2021 then? You had an email list though, probably built because you've done ads, you had customers. And then was there something else that happened in 21 to keep the momentum going? Or was it that you already had this solid group of people buying and then it was word of mouth and just natural, like more organic?
It started becoming more word of mouth. Like I said earlier, as people were gifting these blankets to their friends and family, I started building an even bigger loyal customer base. And that's one thing I worked on last year really hard, was building my email list. I found that that's the best way right now to bring in sales is through emails. It's 5,000 people, and I'm working on making that bigger.
But you can have, and I mean, hearing that, like you have a very successful business for, it's not the biggest list, but it's still
100%.
5,000 people that you can sell to. Stadium.
I think so. I think during that time too, in 2021, I feel like you did, and this is something we worked with Kimberly on and all of our masterminders on, is product, because there was the baby blankets or the child blankets, that sort of thing. So you got just more clear, even in the time that you got more clear with your messaging, got more clear with your operations, all those things. And I think that's really helped you to grow at a faster pace too, on top of having that existing base of, I know you said just 5,000, but 5,000 is a lot of people. And then even if for all of you, Kimberly obviously started with one and moved her way up there. And then as you start to email people, the idea is, and you can listen to the podcast episode today that was, how to find ready to buy customers. But we talk about the uptick of percentages, like could you get the open rates to be higher? Could you get conversion from 1% to 2% to 3% to 4% to 5%? So really be thinking about that, because I think that's something Kimberly has done is really understood that because Facebook ads aren't working, what is she going to do now? And she's just gotten more refined and more clear with what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm actually clearancing out the baby blankets right now, as you guys have helped me niche down into my product line. And I've promoted or discounted them to where they get a better discount the more they buy, to increase my average cart value. So,
oh my gosh.
Yes, I listen to everything you guys say.
Star student.
What are you most proud of as a small business owner?
Honestly, resilience, because 2021 was really hard on me. I slipped on ice at the beginning of the year and broke my neck.
That is right. I remember that one.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Then Facebook ads stopped working. I was losing money on my shipping expenses. My prices went up. And then toward the end of the year, like you guys mentioned, my shipment just got stuck or lost in the Los Angeles port system somewhere for weeks and weeks. It was
during the
year.
Christmas season, during the time that it was like your best-selling season.
Best-selling season, and I didn't have blankets.
But you're resilient and you're still standing and your business is still going. And what advice would you give to other small business owners out there? List something that you've learned or that you would love them to take away?
That you need to find a community, because there's so many times I would have probably just thrown in the towel and stopped it's like last year, it just seemed like one hard thing after the next. But my community, which is a lot of the people that I found through the mastermind, has rallied against me. Jacqueline and Mina have helped me work through a lot of the issues I faced this last year, but I've just had my community behind me, encouraging me, and it's been the best thing for me.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's so true because it is easier to give up when it's by yourself because you get so discouraged and you need people to help pick you up. I think you do that for other people too. I remember when you broke your neck. I totally forgot about that until now.
Because 2021 was like the longest. I don't even know what was that year.
And you guys, all of you, she would show up to the calls and she would be like, I just wanted to show up for the call. She's so positive. And I think that's what you really bring to a group. You like light the group up, even with a broken neck. And she would say, I can sit up for 3 hours now. And I was like, maybe you should lay down. You're just so positive and you're such a light.
Resilient, so, right there.
Resilient. So she showed up even though she had a brace on her neck.
Break your neck and you stand right back up.
So
that's dedication.
You got through it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And what are you most excited about for 2022 and moving forward?
I'm going to be moving into a bigger headquarters or getting a bigger warehouse. And I'm really working on getting my designs, more of the designs in the adult swaddle blanket size and promoting those as my main product.
Yeah. Which we've talked about with her when any of you that know us for bestseller secrets and all that, it was like, what are your best sellers? Instead of having a ton of inventory in all these different sizes, you really niche down into the adult swaddle blankets, the queen size, the king size blankets. Cause you also, my friends, can go buy these for your beds, or if you have a big family, just for your couch, the more the merrier. And so really proud of you because I'm looking forward to seeing what you do this year on your feet, not slipping on ice.
Yeah, right.
Product in hand, bigger space, just the really incredible things you can do. Because if you got through 2021 with smiles and laughter, I mean, because she said, I broke my neck, but you did, this is how you are innately. And I am looking forward to seeing what an easier year will be as well for you.
I'm very hopeful. Being positive.
All right. So how can people support you, buy from you, and follow you?
My website is pipermoonxo.com and my Instagram and Facebook are pipermoonxo. And also just following and commenting helps small businesses a lot as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sure does. Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us. This episode is brought to you by the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge and Small Business Shopping Directory. It's a commitment to make 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business online or offline. So head to shop1in5.com to take the pledge. And friend, while you are there, check out and shop from hundreds of small businesses in the Small Business Shopping Directory. It's the go-to directory to discover, support, and shop small businesses all in one place. Head to shop1in5.com.